In this video, we're going to break down a little bit thoughts and ideas which I have about the new Superman movie. Now, I've seen the trailer and I have to say the trailer was decent. It was. I'm not going to be just like a James Gunn hater sitting here and saying that there were certain things in the trailer which I did not like. There were certain things in the trailer which I actually appreciated. But these are going to be my 6 reasons why I think James Gunn is just not the right man for the job. And when I discovered that James Gunn was going to direct Superman, I was so baffled because I did not understand why they picked him specifically. There are so many great directors, so many at Warner Brothers, which have made incredible movies. An example is, I was watching the Mad Max movie and I thought that movie was very action-packed, and why not get him as a director? Or even Denis Villeneuve. Like Dune. There's so many good directors. So I was so baffled, and I was thinking to myself, like, why would they get James Gunn? So the first reason why, and I know that this is maybe like a petty reason, is because James Gunn, if you just look at him, he doesn't look like an intelligent person. He looks like kind of like Santa Claus. He has no style. There's nothing about him as a person which is interesting. So that is one of the reasons why I'm like, let's say James Gunn were to walk into my office and I'm the head at DC. I would think first like this, okay, his appearance, right? Because that matters. I don't care what anybody says, it matters at the end of the day. So when I've seen him talk and just the way that he addresses himself, he doesn't give me any confidence so I can actually give him these projects. I'll be like, if I were to look at James Gunn just by looking at him, I'll be like, nah, maybe you're not the right man for the job. Maybe we can put you on like script duties or something like that. And then the second reason why I do not think that this is going to be a successful Superman movie is just because David Corenswet, there's nothing wrong with him as an actor. He's just not Superman. Yes, he looks good, he looks the part, but when he starts speaking, you're just like, he has too much nice guy energy. You know, there's something dark about Ben Affleck. There's something very dark about Henry Cavill. But when you look at David Corenswet, he's just a corny dude. Superman is supposed to be able to kind of like play both sides. He's supposed to have gravitas, of course, and I do not see it in David Corenswet. So I think he's miscast. The people around James Gunn should have at least vetted some of his ideas, because yes, James Gunn has these like stupid crazy ideas, and he created Guardians of the Galaxy, which was a kind of like a fringe idea, and it surprised me that that movie became as successful as it was. But I have to go back to it, like he kind of like finds these weird characters and then he can assemble a team like Suicide Squad. Yes, he can do that, but that's all he can do. He can't be the head of DC. I would understand if they said like he's gonna direct a movie in DC. That would have been perfect. Even maybe the Green Lanterns. Maybe he directs one movie. Okay, like I don't know, like an adventure movie. That would have been okay. I have no problem with James Gunn just like directing things which are already set in stone, but him being the head of DC, man, it makes no sense. So yeah, he miscast David Corenswet as Superman, and I'm just like, David Corenswet is too much of a nice guy. And reason number 3 why I think that Superman is gonna flop is just because James Gunn, I mean, the thing which I know him for is Scooby-Doo. And now we're gonna get a Scooby-Doo Superman, and I think it's just the wrong choice to have like a super dog in the movie, because there are a lot of questions which I have. What does the super dog eat? what does a super dog do when they're not hanging out? Is it just off somewhere in the fortress of solitude, just being a super dog? There's a lot that doesn't make any sense about Superman and the super dog, and it kind of feels like he's going very goofy with Superman, and I think that that is the wrong thing to do when it comes to this character. The best version of Superman that we have gotten is the Lois and Clark Superman. If you guys haven't seen that series, the premise of the series is it's kind of like a love story between Superman and Lois, and then it's kind of like also like a crime of the week kind of a series. So there are things which happens, maybe somebody gets murdered, and then they have to solve whatever mystery which occurs in every episode. So that is what I like about it, and I just do not understand why we're goofing it up. We should not go goofy when it comes to Superman. He's a very serious character, and I think that you can play to Superman's strengths. The fact that he actually has to save everybody every single day, and he has no time to do the things that he actually wants to do. That is very interesting. Superman, I've said this so many times, that is a love story. You could create a love story between Lois, Clark, and Lex Luthor. You could do something like that. There's this scene in the Lois and Clark series where Superman, after a long day of just like rescuing so many people, he comes home and he's pissed off over the fact that Lois is dating Lex Luthor, right? And so he's talking to his mom about it, and he's just frustrated about it, right? And then somebody knocks on his door, and it's Lois, of course. She comes in and she starts talking about Lex Luthor, and she knows that Clark likes her. So she's like trying to sniff out how much he likes her, and he gets like super pissed off and it's like, don't tell me about how much you and Lex are like living life. That is what I like about Superman. I like the character, and I do not understand why we're going goofy. So goofy, dog, all of that is just like something which I saw in the trailer, and it's really starting to piss me off, and I'm like, why would they allow this? Why don't they look at like the Superman comic, like World's Finest? Why don't they just look at Alex Ross? Like, we have so many people which have created these beautiful stories, and all you have to do is literally just take it from the comic and just film a great movie. That's it. It could be a romantic comedy. That's it. You don't have to do too much with the character. We already love this character. So I really hate that fact that they're goofing it up. They're making Scooby-Doo Superman, and I'm just like, that's not gonna work. And the fourth reason why I think that this movie is just gonna flop is because James Gunn knows nothing about casual viewers, right? You have to have everything for everybody. Henry Cavill is to bring in the women. Oh, Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck is to bring in the women. They're trained, they're these huge muscular men. A woman is gonna walk past, I don't know, maybe the Henry Cavill poster, and she's gonna be like, man, he's attractive. He's in a movie, let me go and watch it. A casual person, or a kid, whomever, it could be like a guy, will walk past the Henry Cavill poster and says, man, this guy's pretty fit. I kind of look up to this guy. Let me go and watch his movie. What about this Superman? Like, it's going to bring in like the casual people, because you need the casual people in order for this to become a massive hit. So he's not attracting those casual viewers. What he's doing is he's making a very fringe Superman for only like I'm talking about like the comic book heads, or like the comic book fans, which is a good thing, but I think it's going to be too much inside baseball, where yes, we have a fringe character like Crypto, but even I know that Crypto can't be in the movie for this to be successful. It's too goofy. People will After watching this movie, they're gonna think that Superman is a cornball. Say what you want about Zack Snyder, he knew that Henry Cavill was going to be a superstar. Ben Affleck as Batman was very interesting casting, and that is what I like about Zack Snyder. He has this, he dares to do something different. And I know he got a lot of like shit from all the fans for Superman killing Zod, but you put Superman in an impossible situation and he just has to act, and that is what I loved about Man of Steel. I still sometimes just watch Man of Steel to just admire the cinematography. So yeah, the whole fact that James Gunn doesn't really understand the casual viewer and that this is going to be too much inside baseball is a big problem, because in order for this movie to make $1 billion, he has to think outside of the box, and he has to bring in people actors which will be able to sell the movie. And if I'm being honest, the leads right now, they're not selling it for me. Okay, so reason number 5 is we already love Ben Affleck, we already love Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot. I think the Trinity is perfectly cast. And you saw what happened to the Wonder Woman 84 movie. When Patty Jenkins took over, it became garbage. So I think that DC should have Zack Snyder as the figurehead. Then of course he's not directing everything, but he comes with some of his insights, because if you look at the Wonder Woman movie, the first movie, there is this scene where Wonder Woman lifts a tank and she's about to crush it on one of the villains in the movie. And she's getting like taunted to do it, right? And at the end of it, she says no. She says, "You're not going to tempt me." I think it was, what is this? I think it was Ares, which was kind of like manipulating her and trying to make her evil. So I'm like, that scene when she just chooses not to crash the tank on this villain, right? I think that is what makes Wonder Woman so unique. Last but not least, reason number 6 why this movie is going to flop is because we've already seen all that James Gunn is doing before, but we've seen it way better done by Zack Snyder. And I think the last thing, I think I'm going to give you reason number 7, is because we're talking about Zack Snyder versus James Gunn here. And the thing with James Gunn, he is just a director, and Zack Snyder, he's an artist. Like, love him or hate him, at the end of the day, what Zack Snyder does is pure art. That's why people get so affected when it comes to his movies, right? Because you're just like, he gives you something which you did not even know that you wanted. I did not even know that I wanted Batman versus Superman, but he went there. He tried it. Lex Luthor, I think that, yeah, that was a hit and miss, but I'm more interested to see Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, for even what Jesse Eisenberg to continue this weird Lex Luthor than the Lex Luthor that we're gonna get right now. Nicholas Hoult, great actor, but I think he's got too soft features in order to kind of like bring that darkness from Lex Luthor. So we've seen it before, and it just doesn't make any sense. Anyway guys, leave it in the comment section. What do you guys think? Do you think that this new Superman is going to flop? Or do you think that maybe I'm totally wrong and he's going to knock this one out of the park? Because this one has to make at least 800 million. At least. If it doesn't, if it makes 400, then Warner Brothers is in big trouble. Big trouble. Because this is supposed to be the flagship. This is supposed to be the heroes of all heroes. And I just don't understand why they can't get this right. But anyway, guys, like, comment, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Makes sense.